You're listening to All About Us Radio. We're live streaming 24/7, playing old school versus new school. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at AAU Media, and visit our website www.aaumedia.com. Call us at 1-833-369-1444, extension 1, and leave us an inspirational message or request. You're listening to All About Us Radio.
Hello, welcome to All About Us Radio. Changing you, changing us, and changing the world. My name is Monique DeFore Jones. I am an obstetrician gynecologist by trade, and I am the host of Empowering Women. Meet me here every Thursday at 7 p.m., the third Thursday of every month. We're going to talk on topics around hypertension, diabetes, obesity, menopause, cancer to include breast cancer, ovarian, uterine, and even colon cancer. We will also make sure that we include our youth. Our younger generation is our growth and future. We will also make sure that our topics include our young adults because they are our growing future as well. Some important topics that we will have some guest speakers on are behavioral health, that is, anxiety and depression. Because again, we do know that our women do suffer from anxiety and depression. But the most important way that we can empower women is by becoming more financially literate. So we will have some guest speakers on how do we grow our finance and how do we push that forward, because that is important as well. But in doing so, we also have to feed our spiritual health. So there will be some speakers that we have that will be part of our show that will help guide and grow our spiritual health. There are some topics that don't get spoken upon by a lot of our, talk radio stations. And I want to make sure that we hit on a lot of those topics. That is, how do we deal with our sandwich family of dealing for the elderly, our elderly family members? We are that sandwich generation that is around, and we need to be able to care for us as well as our families. Another important topic that we would like to speak about is dealing with the disabled, disabled children, as well as our disabled adults. Topics around autism, Down syndrome, mental retardation, as well as our adults that are faced with neurological issues of Parkinson, Alzheimer's, as well as different neurological cognitive impairments. But also importantly is how do we grow and empower our women to take charge of themselves, to take charge of their health, as well as to take charge of who they are. Because we speak volumes and we move our pillars forward. So how do we grow and how do we become stronger? So I am asking and welcoming anybody to please join me the third Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. so that we can address topics to grow and empower our women. Please feel free to drop us a line or to call us on All About Us Radio. That number is 833-369-1444. Leave an inspirational message or drop us a message on what topics you may want us to talk about. We can be seen on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, on AAU Media. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at AAU Media. Also, please remember that we are a growing society and we must remember to move our women forward, because without us, we cannot touch and make the changes that we need to make the world changes. But before I leave for today, I want to just touch on COVID-19. I know it's been a hot topic that everybody has been trying to address. It is our people who are getting affected because of the lack of vaccinations or access to vaccinations. It is known that the vaccinations are safe, as you hear. There are a lot of centers that you can go to. It is safe for women. It is safe in pregnancy. It is safe for our young people. And now it is open to our children. So I am encouraging everyone to please, please go and get vaccinated. If you have any concerns or any questions that I could address, you can drop it into the chat and I'm more than happy to speak on that. I'm going to hold to see if anything is coming through on our chat for now. So again, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Monique DeFore Jones. My show is about empowering women. It will be the third Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. We have a lot of great topics to address. We will have a lot of great speakers, and we may have some pop celebrities that will pop through on some of our talks. So please tune in. And welcome to Empowering Women with Dr. Monique DeFore Jones. Thank you.
Throw and Tuck. It's handmade by myself, and you only can get it here, and it's patent, and it's only here at Rococo Design. It's like a regular pillow, or you can take the blanket out like so, fluff up the pillow, open up your blanket, wrap it around yourself, and then you can lay on your sofa and relax with your pillow throw and tuck. When you're done with it, just flip it over. When you don't want the blanket anymore, you just fold it over twice. Fold it over twice again. Fold it over. And tuck it in the back. And there you go. You're back to the pillow throw and tuck. Rococo Design. Pillow throw and tuck. It's
So before we end this short introduction, I just want to remind everybody we are approaching the end of October, where October is Breast Cancer Awareness. I want to make sure that everybody has made a conscious effort to either have had their mammogram done or has scheduled their appointment to have their mammogram done. Because the only way that we can empower our women is to take charge of our own health. And by doing that, it is important to make sure that we decrease down one of the number one cancers in African American women, which is breast cancer. So please remember to make that appointment. Please go to your doctor, get your prescription, make the appointment. And if there's any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me. So it looks like a question has come across the chat about vaccination for COVID with respect to pregnancy. It is safe for women, and this is supported by the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, the Society of Maternal Fetal Medicine, as well as the Society for Reproductive Medicine, on being vaccinated during pregnancy. It helps to decrease down the risk of contacting COVID during pregnancy. We do know if you get COVID in pregnancy, it can worsen just because pregnancy itself is an immunocompromised state. And we also have found that people end up delivering early just because of having the infection. It puts them at risk for premature births as well. By getting the vaccine, people have done well. They have gone to term. And we found that the vaccine antibodies have crossed over into the baby, allowing them to have protection as well. So it's also helpful to get it during pregnancy, as well as if you did not get it during pregnancy, to make sure to get it during your postpartum time, because again, that will help not only you, it will also help your baby. Okay, one of the questions that came across is breast cancer and low immunity. Anybody who has cancer or has low immunity, it is recommended that they consider getting a booster vaccine if they have already gotten their COVID vaccine. Because again, we have found in some patients that just due to low immunity, the vaccine may not be around, or the antibodies that are there may not be strong enough to fight against getting the COVID. That is why we are encouraging people to get their boosters, and it is open to anybody who's over the age of 65 that may have any forms of immunocompromise statuses of, people with additional comorbidities like hypertension, diabetes. So it is very important that you consider going to your local pharmacy or as well as your physician to follow up with getting boosters. They found that the COVID, one of the other questions that has come across is, how does COVID-19 shots help against the variant? Again, right now, the COVID vaccine has helped against the Delta variant, as well as decreasing down the risk of getting infections from some of the other variants. There is still a lot of testing and studies that are being done for the vaccine, and people are happy with the outcomes. Again, it is still work in progress, but again, they have found that the vaccines is extremely helpful against the variants as well. One of the other questions that just came across is, what is the difference between the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine? There is not much of a difference between the two vaccines, or actually all three of the vaccines. They're basically different companies that are there. They are RNA virus vaccines, and they all help. They are different companies, but they are basically the same with respect to how they prevent against getting the COVID-19. Just trying to make sure we're catching all of the questions. Vaccination for children. What are some of the known side effects in the children for vaccination? They have done a few trials and studies, which is still ongoing now, including children for the COVID-19 vaccine. Again, as far as children getting the vaccine, it is highly recommended. Again, it's the same studies that are going on in adults as well. There were some concerns in the past that there may be some cardiac issues. They are following up on those, and at this point, they have not found any direct link to that as we speak. But again, we are still doing research and evaluating for both the adults as well as the children. But as of now, there are no known significant side effects more than the same as the adult. Pain at the injection site. They may have some flu-like symptoms, like when you get your flu shot, but otherwise highly recommended for children. What are some of the challenges? One of the questions is, what are some of the challenges for disabled children getting the vaccination? And if so, how do we discuss this with their doctors? It is also very important to always have open communication with your doctor, especially when we're dealing with disabled children or disabled adults, because there are times where they cannot express what they're feeling or some of the symptoms they may be having. So again, when you have a disabled child or an adult, it is important to follow them closely once they get the vaccine. During the time of the vaccination, you want to make sure that you want to ice their location where they got the vaccine, because again, it may be painful for them at that point. They may not be able to express it. Again, the most important thing, especially in the disabled, whether it be children or adults, is how do we prevent them from getting COVID? So it is recommended that they get the vaccination. And I would like to also share that I do have a disabled child who is at an adult age that has autism and has sensory issues and cannot wear a mask. So I was very happy when he became eligible to get his vaccination, because again, you could be just in the grocery store, you could be just driving, and those risks are there for people. So it is important to have open communication and always follow. And if you're unsure, contact your provider and make them aware of any signs or symptoms or changes. One of the questions is, I'm afraid to get the vaccination due to the fact that some people have died after directly getting the shot. What are some of the known causes of their death, and was their death directly from COVID-19 vaccinations? That is a question that is very difficult to answer, but I'm going to answer that question to the best of my ability. I am not sure if the patient may have had a direct correlation. Was their death directly correlated to the COVID-19, or was their death correlation to something different? However, that can only be determined by an autopsy. However, there have been one incident that they felt that there was a death related to a COVID-19 vaccine. However, there have been numerous studies even before the vaccine was FDA approved to go through. But please remember, people die for a number of different reasons. And it is important to understand that, again, when we think about getting vaccinated, people can die from COVID-19 without being vaccinated as well. It is also flu season, so it is important that we understand that people die more from flu than they did from COVID-19 before. So now with COVID-19, that has surpassed a lot of deaths. We are in an astounding number of deaths due to COVID-19. So it is really important that we continue to move forward, that we continue to make sure, especially with flu season coming up, that we are as diligent as we were when COVID first came out, to remember to do our hand washing, to cover our face, and to cover our mask and clean all of our areas. With the flu season approaching, please make sure that everybody goes out and gets their flu shot. They can get their flu shot along with the COVID vaccine. There doesn't need to be any kind of waiting period during that time. So I'm advising everyone to please make sure to try and go out and get your flu shot as soon as you can. Again, to be able to protect yourself besides getting the flu vaccine, it is important to remember to do what we said. Wash your hands, cover your face, and when you're coughing, and to right now, it's very important to continue wearing masks, especially if you're in a large number of people. It's really helpful that you make sure to continue using Purell and Lysol when you can. That is very, very important. Another question that just came across: what are some of the symptoms of COVID-19? COVID-19 has similar symptoms of the flu symptoms. You may get a fever, you can get a cough, you may get shortness of breath. Some people may get fatigue. So if you're not sure of any of those symptoms, please seek out. You can go to any Go Health, you can go to any urgent care, you can go to any hospital. Please go and get swabbed to make sure that it is not COVID-19, and to make sure it just may be just the flu, or you just may have a cold. So it is important to make sure that you can do testing, rapid testing for COVID-19 as well. One of the other questions that just came is it okay to get the COVID-19 on the onset of the symptoms? The answer to that is yes, you can get the COVID-19 vaccine. That's what I'm assuming that the question is, on the onset of the symptoms. However, we do want the symptoms to subside. If you're starting to feel symptoms, one of the things we recommend, and not everybody is a candidate for it, is something called monoclonal antibodies. So again, those patients will, anybody with symptoms needs to be evaluated, because they may be a candidate for monoclonal antibodies, which helps to decrease down that period of symptoms and shorten the symptomatology that they may be having during that period. So on that note, I'm going to say thank you for now. Please send, another question just came across. Okay. It says, if you have heart disease, is it okay to get the COVID-19 shot? Absolutely. It is okay, even if you have a heart disease, to get the COVID-19 shot. One other question: is vitamin D helpful for my immunity? Vitamin D is helpful. Vitamins in general are helpful. So I highly recommend multivitamin, as well as supplementing with vitamin C, as well as vitamin D. It does help to build our immune system. And especially now that the season's changing, we want to be as healthy as we can with taking our natural vitamins, as well as vitamin C and vitamin D. And we can get that in so many different of our healthy foods that we can eat, as well as supplements that we can purchase at any health food store. So I want to thank you for joining us tonight, and empowering women, and being part of All About Us Radio. We are here to make change. We are going to push this forward, and we are our women who will make change. Again, looking forward to seeing you the third Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. Bye for now.
You're listening to All About Us Radio. We're live streaming 24/7, playing old school versus new school. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at AAU Media, and visit our website www.aaumedia.com. Call us at 1-833-369-1444, extension 1, and leave us an inspirational message or request. You're listening to All About Us Radio. You're listening to All About Us Radio. We're live streaming 24/7, playing old school versus new school. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at AAU Media, and visit our website www.aaumedia.com. Call us at